Hey there YouTube. So it's a hot day today. It's a Saturday. It's beautiful outside. And today we're going to take a look at a 2010 Camaro SS with the RS package. I've spent 3 hours getting it cleaned up, ready, waxed, and to look as best as possible on video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look. Now, as I've stated, this is a 2010 Camaro SS with the RS package. It does have the LS3 engine paired with the Tremec TR6060 6-speed manual transmission. So it has 426 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. Whereas if you get an automatic, you get the L99 motor with 400 horsepower, and I can't remember the torque figure offhand. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this today. We're going to start it up, let you hear the exhaust, and show you a few of the modifications that the owner has made to the car. So let's go ahead and take a look on the interior. Now, as I've said, spent a lot of time cleaning the car. It is 6 years old, so it's not going to be perfect. It's a daily driver. It has almost 90,000 miles on it. But I've seen cars with a lot less mileage look a lot worse for sure. So the interior, you have your door panels. This does have the LED lighting, or the ambient lighting, in this panel right here. Does have the Boston premium audio system, which sounds amazing. I was surprised at how good it sounded when he first got the car. And this is the original owner. He purchased it. He ordered it in, I believe, June or July of 2009, and took delivery of it, I think, beginning of August of 2009. So, as you can see, as I mentioned, the 6-speed manual. Does have the leather seats with the heated option. It'd have been nice had they had the cooled option too back then in 2010. And you do have the back seat. That right there is the Diablo Sport Trinity tuner, because the car does have a 93 octane tune. Now, let's go ahead and get inside, start it up, see how it sounds. As I stated, has close to 90,000 miles. I do love the look of this gauge cluster, and that's one thing that I like about the Chevys, is they also give you your mile per hour in a digital readout. It's just a nice little feature to have sometimes. The steering wheel, like I said, it is a daily driven car, so we believe that all this that you can see where the leather looks like it's torn is from the owner's wedding ring. That's the only thing that we can attribute to that. But I love the leather that Chevy uses on their steering wheels, especially the new Chevy Silverados. The shift boot does have A little bit of deterioration right there. Not sure if this is real leather or just fake leather, but that is deteriorating. So with the 2 SS package, you get these gauges down here, which are a throwback to the first generation Camaros that had these. Very nice feature. You got your oil pressure, oil temperature, trans temperature, and your volts. Just, it's different. It's nice. It's cool. Stereo, it's nothing too special. I believe in 2011 they actually started just coming with a touch screen, and the owner looked at swapping it out, but cost-wise he's not worried about it because of how much it costs. Then also the 2011, I believe, are the ones that started with the heads-up display, where it displays how fast you're going, and I believe even your RPMs onto the windshield. So the owner does have a Vitesse or Vitesse, I don't know how you say it, but it's a throttle controller. I never noticed it, but he had always said that he had said that there is throttle lag, and after he put this controller on, it definitely made a difference. Some people say it's a joke, and I was kind of skeptical when he told me he was getting it, but it actually works. And to me, I compare it as putting my Mustang into sport mode. It gets rid of any of that throttle lag that you have. But other than that, the interior is essentially stock. You have your garage door buttons right here. Does have a sunroof. It's a nice feature. Doesn't use it much, and I don't blame him. When I had my Civic with a sunroof, I didn't use it, and I didn't get one in the Mustang obviously because they didn't have them available for them. So, but I still wouldn't have got a sunroof in the Mustang had it come with it, or had it been an option. But it's nice to have sometimes. This car does have the Bluetooth to pair with your phone. Has CD. You also have an auxiliary port, which your auxiliary port and the USB cable are located in your center console, which is loaded of stuff. As I said, if you've seen the interior of a 5th generation Camaro, there's not too much to see in this one. Like I said, I spent a lot of time cleaning it, so it looks pretty nice for being 6 years old. Now, let's go take a look under the hood. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop the hood. Essentially it's stock under the hood, but he does have a cold air intake, which I actually think is really cool. Go ahead and try to give a little bit of a closer look. Now, what I think is cool about the intake is that it has the plexiglass that allows you to see the air filter, and the way it sits in the engine bay, it actually fits. Now, this is the cold air inductions intake. He hasn't dynoed the horsepower gains from using the intake, but if it's like any other intake, probably anywhere from 15 to 25 gains just from the cold air intake. Other than that, there's not a whole lot under the hood that's different. I do like how there's a lot amount of room. There's a lot of room, so if you need to work on the engine, change a pulley, change a belt, it's extremely easy to do because you have all that room. Whereas a lot of cars, especially European cars or German cars, you can't really stick a hand in anywhere to work. So the engine bay is very nice. It's not cluttered with a lot of crap. Now another modification that the owner has made to the car, and it was probably the most difficult modification. You may not be able to see it, but there's this flap right here behind the lower grille. We installed an air scoop, and what it does is it catches air that comes through the lower grille, shoots it up into the cold air intake, and they claim it's supposed to give you about an 8 horsepower boost. So it does require some modifying there's a plastic piece behind this grille, and it was the hardest part about doing this was bolting this where the horn goes, because you have to bolt this and the horn together, and trying to do it without removing the bumper is extremely difficult. So if you do that modification, I recommend removing the bumper, and it's called the Apex air scoop. What we did was remove the front wheel, remove the wheel well, and had access to everything that way. Now the scoop does require removal of the windshield washer fluid container, and it replaces it with a smaller one so that it'll fit everything in there. And on top of the cold air intake, the air scoop, he does have the Diablo 93 octane tune. If you notice, there is a lot of black on the car. All of that is Plastidip. If anybody knows anything about Plastidip, you know that it's become extremely popular over the last few years in cars. I was very skeptical the first time I used it. Just didn't know how it was going to react, what to expect. So I used it on my car, had great results, and figured why not talk to the owner. We Plastidip'd everything that was chrome. The wheels aren't chrome, but they're alloy. Plastidip'd them, Plastidip'd the Camaro, the GM badging at the bottom, the front bow tie, the front SS emblem. We also Plastidip'd this rear spoiler and the rear bow tie, as well as the taillight surroundings. You can buy a lot of this, such as the taillight surroundings. You can buy them already powder coated, but it is extremely expensive. I think they were like $200 and something for them. So this was a very cheap way of doing it. The car is supposed to have the dual racing stripes, but the owner was in a minor accident back around Christmas where it damaged the front of the car right in here. So the body shop that did the work had to take the stripes off the hood, repaint it, and then put them back on. Well, they did a terrible job of doing it, and what's sad is the guy that put the stripes on is supposed to do that as his living. If anybody knows about how the stripes are supposed to fit, they're supposed to be not even with the edge of the hood, but about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch back. And this guy had them all the way over. They weren't straight. And then the thin line that was right here, he actually cut. He didn't go far enough. So he cut another piece and didn't even line it up. It was a poor job that was done. So the owner got the stripes. We attempted to do them ourselves. The first one turned out great. I mean, I'm sure there were some minor imperfections, but nothing too major. We went to go put the second stripe on, and I don't know if it was from sitting in the body shop's warehouse or what, but it was not attached to the wrapping well. It was not flat. There was a lot of air bubbles, which the way the stripes had to be done, there was no way of getting these air bubbles out. So we essentially removed them off the hood and left them off for now. And then also pulled the stripes off the back. It's kind of cool though, in a way. If you can see on here, you can still see where the stripes were on the rear, and you can on the hood. So it's almost got a ghost stripe effect to it. That's what I call it. But it's where the stripes have just kind of etched their way into the clear coat. So stripes will be added eventually, but for now it doesn't have them on it. The corner lamps down there, as well as the light right there and the taillights. We used VHT nightshades. Once we put the amount of coats we wanted, we went back and used Duplicolor clear coat on them. Once that dried, we wet sanded, buffed them to get a nice gloss blackout look on the lights. And it really changed the look of the car. All the blackout accents that have been done, in my opinion, have made the car look better. I'm not a big fan of chrome. If you've seen my car, you know that I'm not a big fan of chrome. So we did the tail lights, and it took a while to get him to do it. But now that he tinted the tail lights, he really likes it. So if you want to know more about the process we did for tinting the lights, just comment below and I'll do my best to explain it to you through a message. Alright, so now we're going to go take the Camaro for a ride, and not going to do anything too extreme, just normal everyday driving, just to give a review about how the car feels. First off, the clutch is very forgiving, I guess. It is definitely different from the Mustang, for sure. And also the throttle controller that's installed makes a difference too when starting off and going. The point from engaging the clutch to disengaging isn't that far from apart, and it's very comfortable to me, as well as going through the gears is comfortable. Now, if at any time you hear a rattle that just sounds like an aggressive rattle, it's something with the exhaust. If anybody knows what's causing that, please chime in. I know the owner would appreciate. But don't know if the camera picked it up there, but it's very raspy. It's not normal. I don't think it's normal for an exhaust. So now, as I said, shifting is very easy. It's not notchy. To me, I don't think I've ever missed a shift in the car. I've missed a shift in my Mustang a couple times. I'm willing to admit that. Nobody's perfect. But this car, I don't think I've ever had trouble getting into a gear. It's very smooth and just transitions very well. Now, as far as the ride quality of the car, for a sports car, it's great. I'm not sure if this car has the magnetic ride control, but that's supposed to make for a smoother ride. If it does, comment below saying yay or nay. I'd love to know. The seats, for me, because I am a smaller guy, if I were to go to a track, I would be getting thrown around a lot because they're big. Someone who's a bit bigger probably wouldn't have any trouble with these seats. The bolstering it's not bad, but it's not great either. I would say it's probably just about average. But yeah, on turns I do kind of move around a lot. The car is a little bit heavier than Mustangs, and with the 6th generation Camaros, they're going to drop about 200 pounds, which is a good thing. Vitesse, however you say it, throttle controller feels like, I doubt it adds horsepower, but it feels like it has a little bit more low end to it. So in the first few gears, it feels like it's got a little bit more of a get up and go to it than it did without the throttle controller. You can change the sensitivity of that throttle controller. You can actually put it in an economy mode, so it's not as responsive in that mode. Right now I'm driving with it on S9, which is as high as you can go to make it as responsive as possible. And it's nice. The Diablo Sport 93 octane tune also made a difference in the car. The owner said that his best 0 to 60 was 4.2 seconds. And for those of you who don't know, I believe the automatic Camaro 0 to 60 was 4.6. So 4.2 isn't bad. And as I said, the ride quality is great. The seats aren't the most comfortable seats. I know I had to take the car or I didn't have to, but I took the car on a trip to Austin a few years back, and about 2 hours in, I couldn't wait to either pull over and take a break or just get there. And the ride quality, and compared to the Mustang, as far as how smooth it is much better. But the seats aren't as comfortable as the Mustang. But overall, the car is a great car. He hasn't had any issues mechanical wise. The only issues he's had is whenever he got in the accident and it had to go into the shop. Oh, if you've noticed in the videos, the windshield is cracked. That's his third windshield. The first one he was driving on the interstate and following behind a truck. He doesn't know what it was. Something flew off, just spiderwebbed the whole windshield. It also put a gouge in the top of the roof, which he ended up getting that fixed. Had the windshield replaced. Then was following behind a truck carrying a bunch of rocks, and a large rock fell and cracked the windshield. So then had that windshield replaced. Not even a week after he had the new windshield in, he just came outside one day and the windshield was cracked at the bottom. It was cracked all the way across. After that, he decided not to put in another windshield, just let this one go as long as it will. The only thing that I thought was stupid was when GM had the issue with the keys in the ignition. They didn't replace the remote and come up with a new thing. They just gave him a standard key. So now he has a remote and a key, because his key broke off of the actual remote. This is a joke. GM should have done a better job of replacing it. I understand cost. They're trying to keep it cost efficient, but come on. That's a joke. And that's one thing I forgot to mention in the video about something I hate. So if you watch that, add that in there for the last one, instead of what I talked about on the fifth thing that I hate. But yeah, these keys, I'd be extremely mad if GM did that, or if I had a Camaro and it came with a key like that, because it's not like you're going back to the F-bodies where you had to have a remote and then at least one more key to start it. This was supposed to be the key and the remote in one. That's how many car keys, or a lot of car keys are nowadays. And you would expect them to have replaced that. Well, they didn't, so in my opinion, that was pretty crappy of them. But I do understand business-wise was probably the most affordable option for them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little bit different than what I did for the Mustang. I'm trying to make these videos better, make the quality better. So please, if you have any constructive criticism, that's the key. There's a difference between criticism and constructive criticism. Comment below. I do take the constructive things into account and try to apply them to help make these videos better. So I hope everyone has a great day. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. And y'all take care, and we'll see y'all soon.